Three of the most famous defensive fortifications in history, Hadrian's Wall, the Great Wall of China, and the Walls of Constantinople, each face a modern combined arms brigade trying to break through. Same attacker, same rules. The walls are intact, fully garrisoned with ancient soldiers in their historical prime. The attacker is a United States combined arms brigade, roughly 4,000 soldiers, 90 M1 Abrams tanks, 150 Bradley fighting vehicles, 24 AH-64 Apache helicopters, and a single HIMARS rocket artillery battery. Modern electronics, modern logistics, modern doctrine. Same force against each wall. Let's see which defense lasts the longest, and whether any of them stop the attacker at all. Third place, Hadrian's Wall. Built between 122 and 128 AD, Hadrian's Wall was the Roman Empire's northern frontier in Britain. It stretched 117 kilometers across the narrowest part of the island, 3 meters thick and roughly 5 meters high. Garrisoned by approximately 10,000 Roman auxiliary troops at its peak, the wall was designed to control movement across the frontier, not to stop a determined army. It was a customs barrier with watchtowers, not a fortress. Against a modern brigade, this is over before it starts. The wall's height, 5 meters, is within the elevation envelope of an M1 Abrams main gun firing from close range. The Abrams can pull back 50 to 100 meters and engage defenders on top of the wall with direct fire, or it can blast through the wall itself without adjustment. The wall's thickness, 3 meters, is well within the penetration envelope of a 120mm depleted uranium round, which can defeat modern reinforced concrete several times that depth. The brigade commander has options. Tanks can blast entry points every few hundred meters within minutes. Bradleys can deploy infantry through the gaps, while their 25mm autocannons suppress auxiliaries on the wall. Apaches can engage Roman reinforcements miles behind the wall before they reach the breach points. HIMARS is not even needed. The Roman auxiliaries have hastai, gladi, and composite bows with an effective range of roughly 150 meters. None of these weapons can damage an M1 Abrams. The auxiliaries fight bravely. They always did on this frontier, but they are fighting a battle the wall was never designed for. Hadrian's Wall was built to slow down tribal raiders. It was never meant to stop siege engines, and a modern tank is a mobile siege engine that also shoots. Hadrian's Wall, breached in under 30 minutes. Defensive value against modern forces, essentially zero. The lesson is about what the wall was actually designed to do. Hadrian's Wall worked for 3 centuries against the exact threat it was built for. Against a threat it was never built for. The engineering never stood a chance. Second place, the Great Wall of China. This is the famous one. Construction spanned over 2,000 years, with the most impressive sections built during the Ming Dynasty from the 14th to the 17th century. Total length exceeds 21,000 kilometers. Heights range from 5 to 8 meters. Thickness at the base reaches 6 meters or more in fortified sections. Watchtowers every few hundred meters. Garrisoned at various times by forces numbering in the millions across its full length. Against a modern brigade, the Great Wall has one advantage no other defense in history has ever possessed. It is too long to attack everywhere and too long to defend everywhere. The brigade commander identifies this immediately. He does not attack the wall frontally. He drives parallel to it for 50 kilometers, finds an undefended section. And every section is undefended because 21,000 kilometers cannot all be garrisoned, and breaches it at leisure. No Ming-era garrison can respond fast enough. Signal towers take hours to relay messages in the Ming system. Reinforcements on foot or horseback take days to cover the distances involved. A modern brigade with Humvees and scout helicopters covers 50 kilometers in an hour. When the brigade does breach, the wall itself is more formidable than Hadrian's. 6 meters of packed earth and stone defeats small arms and absorbs Bradley cannon fire. An Abrams main gun punches through, but slowly. Each shot breaches roughly 1 meter of wall, so 3 to 4 rounds per breach point. Watchtowers on the wall provide defensive firing positions for Ming soldiers with matchlock muskets, crossbows, and primitive artillery. Ming technology included gunpowder weapons. The Chinese invented gunpowder, and these can actually injure modern infantry if the garrison holds firm and finds range. but the numerical disadvantage is total. The Ming army at its peak could field 2 million soldiers. On the specific kilometer the brigade chooses to breach, the Ming garrison might be 50 men. Modern technology kills those 50 men within minutes. The wall itself is defeated by geography. No defensive force can be concentrated fast enough to matter. The brigade is through in 2 hours. Ming armies elsewhere on the wall learn of the breach through the beacon system, which can relay a warning hundreds of kilometers in a single day. But by the time reinforcements can march to the breach point, the brigade is 100 kilometers past the wall and moving faster than Ming cavalry can pursue. The Great Wall, breached in 2 hours, defeated by length and scale, not by engineering weakness. The Great Wall's engineering is genuinely impressive. Against medieval and early modern threats, it worked. Against an enemy that can move faster than the defenders can communicate, its greatest asset, its length, becomes its greatest liability. First place, the Walls of Constantinople. Built by Emperor Theodosius II in 413 AD and maintained for over 1,000 years, the Theodosian walls defended Constantinople from the Huns, the Arabs, the Bulgars, the Rus, and every other invader who tried to take the city until the Ottoman Turks finally broke through in 1453. And they only succeeded because of cannon artillery that did not exist when the walls were built. The walls are a triple-layered defensive system. An outer moat, 20 meters wide and 7 meters deep. An outer wall, 8 meters high. An inner wall, 12 meters high and 5 meters thick at the base. Between the walls, a killing ground designed to trap attackers between defensive fire from both sides. 96 towers along the inner wall provided elevated firing positions and command posts. The Byzantine garrison numbers approximately 10,000 professional soldiers, with access to Greek fire, an incendiary weapon that cannot be extinguished with water, and the most experienced defensive engineers in the medieval world. Against a modern brigade, this is the first defense that requires actual tactical planning. The wall's height is the first problem. At 12 meters, the inner wall exceeds the effective engagement angle of M1 Abrams main guns at close range. Tanks have to pull back 200 to 300 meters to engage the top of the wall, which means they are now visible to Byzantine defenders firing down from elevated positions. Greek fire launched from the walls is legitimately dangerous to unarmored infantry and can cause damage to vehicle optics and exposed crew. The triple-layered structure defeats standard breaching doctrine. Blasting through one wall only brings the attacker into the killing ground between the walls, where defensive fire comes from 2 directions. A 120mm tank round that defeats the outer wall does not defeat the inner wall on the same trajectory. The brigade would need to clear each layer sequentially while under fire from the next. The moat prevents direct armored assault. Tanks cannot cross a 7-meter deep water obstacle. Combat engineers would need to breach and fill the moat under fire, a process that in World War II took hours even against weaker defenses, and would be under constant harassment here from Byzantine archers and Greek fire crews on the outer wall. The brigade commander has exactly one clean option: Apache helicopters. Modern air power bypasses every wall ever built. Hellfire missiles destroy the towers from 8 kilometers away. 30mm cannon fire suppresses defenders on the wall tops. But the Apaches cannot finish the job alone. Each AH-64 carries 16 Hellfire missiles and 1,200 rounds of 30mm ammunition. The 24 Apaches attached to the brigade have enough ordnance to destroy perhaps 30 to 40 of the 96 towers before returning to rearm. They also have to approach close enough to aim effectively, which puts them in range of Greek fire and Byzantine archers firing from elevated positions. And critically, helicopters cannot hold ground. Destroying the towers does nothing if Byzantine troops still occupy the walls and the killing ground. The brigade still has to cross the moat and clear 3 lines of defense manually. This takes 18 to 24 hours. Byzantine casualties are catastrophic. They cannot stop a modern force indefinitely, but they impose a real cost. The brigade loses several tanks and Bradleys to Greek fire and well-positioned Byzantine artillery. Infantry casualties number in the dozens. Apaches take small arms damage that would have been trivial in any engagement since 1990. Constantinople, breached in 18 to 24 hours. The first defense to impose meaningful attacker casualties. The walls of Constantinople are what defensive engineering looks like when it matters. Depth instead of just height. multiple layers instead of a single barrier, elevated firing positions, prepared killing grounds, a moat that denies armored assault. Every principle of defensive architecture that the Byzantines understood is embedded in these walls, and even a modern army has to respect that. Briefly,